Welcome back to the Piney Woods homestead, y'all. No, we are not milling lumber today. It did look like that by the intro here. Just needed to get a log up on the deck. There's a bunch of rain coming from a storm off the East Coast, and so we wanted to get a log on the deck. Needed to rake up some of that, or not rake up, but box blade up some of that, those shavings, because today is all about compost and Lisa's raised bed gardens and the things that go in to that compost that gives us those beautiful plants that Lisa grows. Y'all, that is not by accident, that's by a lot of work. And we're going to show you some of the process that goes into making our compost. It's probably different for a lot of folks, but on a homestead, we use everything. We don't let anything go to waste. Guys, hit like for us, subscribe if you hadn't, and if you have, we appreciate you. We're going to get some of this sawdust up, get it on the compost pile, and do a little work on it. Y'all, there's quite a bit that goes into our compost. And before we go much further with it, we're going to show you something else that goes in to our compost heap.
with wood splitting is you'll end up with a bunch of shavings, just little pieces. Not always, but we had a little more this time. But what we do for our raised beds to help us get good dirt is we put this, slabs from the sawmill, or any just branches from the woods, and that really helps break down and add to the nutrients in your soil. And then on top of that, we add either a potting mix from the store or compost when we have it. So
y'all, the reason we showed you the firewood coming off the trailer, those are actually firewood poles from a clearing job I did over the past 3 days. And part of that deal was I got to bring out any firewood that was any good. A lot of it was clear cut, and there were a few big trees for saw logs, but y'all, Lisa will take those. Even though they're small, it's all hickory, maple, and some poplar. And it takes a little more time to work through it because you got a buck, skinny stuff versus big rounds. But it dries fast and it burns good. And we keep smalls on this side, green stuff here, and stuff that's really ready to burn, storm damaged trees that have been down for a while but off the ground. We keep those there, and that stuff will actually be able to go through and sell this winter. But all the trash off of that, like Lisa said, goes into our raised beds. It can go into the compost. And y'all, we put everything in there. When we process animals, our livestock, our chickens, all the stuff that's not going in your freezer to consume goes into the compost pile. And over time, between the heat, it breaks it all down. And that's how you get some really good compost to amend your raised beds, transplant your seedlings. And if we have enough, Lisa will actually have me shoveling it into the raised beds in the spring to top them off. So we're going to take the excavator over there and turn it, because we turn it how often?
Oh,
every couple months?
yeah, something like that.
You want to let it get hot, and the heat's what breaks it down. But we add green in there through the spring, grass clippings, bean plants, all kinds of stuff.
Shavings from the chicken coop. And
yeah, Lisa cleans out all the chicken coops and puts that manure in there. Anything else? Eggshells,
vegetable scraps.
What doesn't go to the pigs, vegetable scrap wise, goes in there. Trying to think, what are y'all putting yours? You can let us know in the bottom, so if we're not adding something, we could. We do add some lime because we put a lot of pine shavings and sawdust in there. We add some lime, and that helps with the pH. Let's see, diatomaceous, we add that too. And the main reason we add diatomaceous is we had some fire ants on it the other day.
That's not something we normally keep putting in it. We do.
No.
Like the fire ants discovered that was a good place to make a new man.
Right.
So.
But that's pretty much it, y'all. We don't put like grease and stuff like that in there. And what you get from your animal byproducts is minimal. So that's not going to hurt anything. But you don't want grease. That just stops up the pores in the dirt. All right, we'll get over there with this excavator and we're going to turn it, y'all, because we're not using shovels. We got a big one right here. Sure beats using those shovels, doesn't it? A whole lot better. Can't believe we bought an excavator just to work on compost. I'm kidding, y'all. But it sure does come in handy for a lot of things on the homestead. All right, so now that I've had my fun and turned the compost pile with the excavator, y'all just love running that thing. Sure does beat a shovel, and I was picking on that thing, y'all, about buying it just to turn compost, but it's for making a living, y'all. But Lisa came out here. I asked her if she's gonna cut me or if she's gonna work in the garden. I don't know, sometimes she may want to do that. But I'm gonna turn the camera around and she's gonna show off her raised beds and show you what good compost can do, because remember, all of our beds they're 19-inch deep beds. They have basically about probably 8 to 10 inches of wood and that is rotting down, because it'll take a little while, but it's rotting down, and compost is added when we have it. Last year or this year we had to buy some, but we normally use our own. So she's going to show y'all what good compost the results of it in your garden.
And they've been planted for 2 months. Everything I did.
What is it?
This is the collards, the Georgia collards. And the one thing about living in the pines is the pine needles going through them. But these, we normally do when we grow them in the spring, we do one cutting and then let them come back. But this time of year, we just let them grow, and then we'll do one big harvest at the same time, which is probably going to come up in about a week, maybe.
Yeah, they do look good.
Yeah.
And we love collard greens, y'all. It's probably one of my favorite things. Collard greens and fried cornbread. Moving on.
And the Brussels, they still have at least another month, but they are, see if you can see it good, right there in the elbow. That right there, my pinky, is a Brussels sprout. And what you want to do when you see those start to form is to just go through and snap off the leaves or cut them off, either one. But they break off really easy, and that just leaves a little ledge for the Brussels to sit on and grow, but it doesn't restrict it. And you don't want to take them all the way off up the top. I may come back through and take a few more out, but looking good so far.
Look great.
Brussels are tricky, but I have found that helps produce a decent size head, and the fertilization and good dirt. But and our Blue Ridge kale,
have you already put up some kale?
I have. Yeah, I've already put up about, I think, 4 gallons worth of kale. And
they're ready. These kohlrabi
the kohlrabis are not for one, because we're gonna have one with supper tonight. They're great to make a quick slaw, and these are all ready. So I'm actually going to probably harvest them all in the next day or two and get some more refrigerator pickles made with them. And they actually will hold in the refrigerator for several weeks. So we'll have some for slaw off and on. But
I can tell you what we're gonna have tonight. If you're gonna make the slaw, I'm gonna saute those greens.
Yeah.
That'll be
the greens
side.
are actually, the greens are really good. I will update, we did a video back in the spring when I harvested those, and I fermented kraut. Not a huge fan. It does taste like kraut, but it's not quite as crisp. So probably won't be doing.
I like it pretty good.
You like it pretty good, but I probably,
it's crunchy.
Yeah, it's not as crunchy as traditional kraut, so that's where it kind of lost me, I think, is the texture. And then the rest of our beds are I think there was 84 broccoli plants, and they've done fabulous. The only problem is we've had last week a solid week of upper 70s and a couple of days 80 and 81. And this variety is more heat tolerant, but once the head, we had the heat right when the heads opened up. So I am losing a few of them. Go down here to this one. Let's see, it's right here. You can tell this one's getting ready to bolt because it's loosening up. It's not as firm. But I thought I'd show you how to harvest them. You want to go down just a little bit and you want to cut at an angle. So that way you can leave it, because if you see here,
oh, there's more
all
shoots.
These little side shoots that are coming out, they'll keep growing. And if you cut it at an angle, any rain, which we're supposed to get like 2 inches tomorrow, will just run off. If you cut it flat, that water's going to pool and cause the broccoli plant to rot, and then you won't get all your little side shoots. But I'm sad that, you know, some of them I'm losing due to the heat, but can't control the weather all the time. And finally gonna have hopefully a successful, good harvest of cabbages. Some of them are, see, this one's doing good. This one's my biggest one so far, but they're all at different stages. They're good firm heads. I've kept the fertilization schedule so far, which actually now I've stopped, because once they start forming the heads, you do not want to fertilize them anymore because you can cause the heads to bust. So, but they're looking good, and that one's probably going to get eaten in about another week.
All right, guys, we appreciate you hanging out with us at the Piney Woods homestead as we took you around and showed you a long-winded video about how we make compost. Lisa said I was long-winded a while ago. I got broccoli in my teeth because that piece she cut while ago, I just ate it. It is good. Very good. I can taste it a little bit.
Can you?
Mm-hmm. Pretty good. Anyways, we appreciate y'all hanging out. Compost is a vital part of growing your own food, y'all. And so last year, you know, we didn't have any because we weren't able to make it. If you've watched Everything Has Changed, you know why. But now we're getting a pretty good pile going. It's breaking down. You keep it turned, keep putting fresh stuff on it. Hard to get green stuff this time of the year, unless it's going to be some scraps off of vegetables. But we like treating our pigs with those. But anyways, y'all, we hope you've learned something. Drop us a comment. Maybe there's something we can learn from you. And guys, we'll see you on the next video. Y'all have a good day and a great week.